Here are the cast and the characters they play. Thornjian Dachot. Sean. As Saik Sodagarn, owner of a department store. He is the stern owner of a department store, and his family's sole male heir. He and his wife, Itsai, have been married for several years, but have no children. His mother is pressuring them to produce an heir as soon as possible. He is terribly upset with his wife after discovering that she has been hiding the fact that she is unable to conceive from the start. Although he still loves Itsaya, he does not intervene when his mother kicks his wife out of the house. He meets Kate, stepdaughter of his longtime employee, Patapon, for the first time, when she models for his company, and they both have a negative first impression of each other. He is outraged when he discovers that Patapon has been embezzling company's funds for years, and demands that he not only face the law, but also return the money that he has stolen. To settle the case amicably, he reluctantly accepts Kate to be the carrier of his child, as proposed by Patapon, and agreed upon by his mother. After Kate moves into his house, and begins working as his secretary, he gets to know her better. He finds her adorable and begins to like her, despite his cool demeanor in front of her. He declines his mother's offer to join the gift program to get Kate pregnant, because he believes that a child should only be born out of the love of two people. As his wife, Itsa, continues to bother him, wishing to reunite with him, he and Kate pretend to be a loving couple, in order to convince her to give up on him. As he begins to be touched by Kate's care for him, and softens his relationship with her, he is confronted by Satayu, who accuses him of falling for Kate, and intends to steal her from him. Unable to control himself, he directs his rage at Kate, accusing her of making him like her. He eventually expresses his feelings to Kate through gestures, after saving her from being raped by an influential businessman. At the same time, Kate, who is starting to like him, shyly accepts him. His action has incurred the wrath of the badly beaten Ad, who vows vengeance against him. His animosity with Ad not only jeopardizes his safety, but also causes severe problems for his company. The situation is aggravated by the interference of his wife, Itsaya, who joins forces with Ad to exact revenge on his family. Despite Ad's threats, he is determined to protect his family and company from being harmed, even at the expense of his own safety. Aryarat Supre Leela. Esther. As Kate. She is a talkative, foolhardy woman, who has no qualms about expressing her thoughts in any situation. Although this trait of hers frequently annoys people, she also always manages to charm people in her own unique way. She is hired as a model for Saik's company, on the recommendation of her stepfather, Patapon. Her first encounter with Saik ends with her bickering and annoying him, while also attracting his attention. Patapon is not her biological father. She is very close to him because he raised her since she was a child. She, however, is not aware that Patapon is an avid gambler who is heavily in debt. When her stepfather gets into trouble, not only for his gambling debts, but also for embezzling funds from Saik's company, where he works, her mother forces her to save him and the family. In exchange for saving her stepfather from prosecution, and waiving the money he stole from Saik's company, she must be the surrogate mother of Saik's child. Although she is opposed to her stepfather's proposal, she is forced to agree because she has no other choice. She moves into Saik's house and works as his secretary. She lives in a separate room but attends to Saik's daily personal needs. She initially finds it difficult to tolerate Saik, who pretends to be mean to her, but eventually learns to be patient with him when she remembers her obligation to him. She starts treating him better and refrains from talking back at him. Her change of attitude further touches Saik, who begins to treat her better. In order to earn more money for her stepfather's medical bills, she returns to do part-time modeling, discreetly, and ends up catches the attention of a playboy politician, Ad, who wants to make her his mistress. Although she manages to resist Ad's move, Saik misunderstands her for selling herself to Ad. This prompted Saik, who has been respecting her sanctity all along, to force himself on her, and she eventually gives in. Jess P. Pattilapornput. Jess. As Satayu. Puu. An architect, fiancé of Kate. He is a conceited architect, who has known Kate since they were a child, and their families are also close to each other. When Kate faces problems as a result of her stepfather's debts and embezzlement case, he proposes to marry her in order to share her burden and problems. However, Kate declines his proposal, because she does not want to burden him with her family problems. Meanwhile, He secures a major project overseen by Sake's sister, Pakani. When they first meet, they bicker and have a negative impression of each other. When he learns about his fiancée, Kate, sacrificing for her family, he is initially upset, but eventually accepts it. He is convinced that Kate still loves him, and believes that things will return to normal after she fulfills her obligation to Sake. When Kate's father becomes ill, he offers financial support to her but she declines. He is enraged and confronts Sake, after he learns that he has been paying medical bills of Kate's father indiscreet. He claims that, as Kate's fiancé, it is his responsibility, not Sake's, to assist her. He accuses Sake of trying to steal his fiancée. Meanwhile, as he collaborates closely with Pakani on a project, their relationship improves. He thinks she's too uptight and boring, so he tries to liven up her life, by bringing her to do mundane, enjoyable things she wouldn't normally do. He is willing to wait for Kate even after learning that she has slept with Sake, because he believes Sake forced her to do so, and she is not to blame. He is devastated, however, when Kate confesses to him that she was not coerced into it. As he tries to mend his broken heart, Pakani is by his side to console and support him. He eventually comes to terms with Kate's relationship with Sake, and continues to be her best friend. Although his relationship with Pakani runs into some problems, they begin to develop feelings for each other without realizing it. Kirati Mahaproikbong. Gypsy. As Pakani Sodagarn, sister of Sake. She helps her brother, Sake, run the family business, and is supportive of him. Despite her dislike for her sister-in-law, Itsaya, she knows Sake loves his wife and encourages him to have a child as soon as possible. When she meets Kate while Kate is doing a photoshoot for her company, she, like her brother Sake, finds her annoying. She notices that, while Kate irritates her brother, she is also one of the few people who can make him smile. She is always by her mother's side, and is just as angry as she is, when she discovers that her sister-in-law, Itsaya, has been hiding her inability to have a baby from her family. Shortly after Kate moves into her house, she notices that her brother, Sake, has begun to like her, despite his denial, and believes Kate may not need the gift program to get pregnant after all. Meanwhile, she is introduced to Satayu, who is assigned to work on a project under her charge. When they first meet, they do not make a good impression on each other. Their subsequent encounters are always filled with teasing and bickering. Regardless, she reminds Satayu that his relationship with his fiancée, Kate, will never be the same again, and he should not harbor too much hope on his relationship with her. Her relationship with Satayu improves, as they work closely on a project. Satayu, who feels she isn't having fun in life, tries to cheer her up by getting her to do simple but enjoyable things. She is forced to be at the forefront, to confront her family's adversary, Ad, after Sake, and the company run into trouble as a result of Ad's vengeance acts. However, Sake and her mother continue to back her up. In addition to that, she is also assisted by the repentant father of Kate, Padadpan. Simultaneously, Satayu, who is trying to mend their friendship after running into some problem with her, offers to assist her as well. Jaruni Suksawat. Play. As Marissa Sodagarn, mother of Sake and Pakani. She has never liked her daughter-in-law, Itsaya, because she believes she married her son for financial gain. She was forced to accept Itsaya when she became pregnant with her son's child before miscarrying. After a few years of hopeless waiting for a grandchild, she puts pressure on her son, Sake, to have an heir, and forces Itsaya to undergo a medical examination. She is enraged and kicks Itsaya out of the house, after the medical examination reveals that she has been lying about her previous pregnancy, miscarriage, and her inability to conceive a child since before she even married Sake. When Padappan offers her the opportunity to have Kate, surrogating a child for Sake, she initially is hesitant, but changes her mind when Itsaya continues trying to contact and bothering her son. She hopes that by announcing that her son has taken in a new wife, Kate, Itsaya will give up on him. Following Kate's relocation to her house and Sake's refusal to join the gift program, she warns her son that if he is unable to get Kate pregnant, she will end the deal and ask Kate to leave. She is relieved when she notices her son is showing signs of beginning to like Kate. Meanwhile, she is forced to confess to Itsaya that, while Kate's relationship with her son is arranged, they have since fallen in love with each other and will have a child together soon. When Itsaya sues her son and claims his assets, she is willing to compromise with her daughter-in-law by giving a sum of money, but refuses to give in to her exorbitant demands. She already has a plan in place, to deal with it if a deal is not reached. Her family faces a crisis while she is recovering from a heart condition, but this does not prevent her from joining her children in overcoming the difficulties. Pichaya Chawalit as Itzaya, wife of Sake. She is unable to conceive a child as a result of an accident that occurred before she married Sake. She lied to Sake about being pregnant, and then miscarried in order to obtain his mother's approval to marry him. Although Sake does not rush her to get pregnant again, and their relationship is doing well, her mother-in-law, Marissa, puts tremendous pressure on her to produce an heir for the family. She is not liked by her mother-in-law and sister-in-law, Pak and E, because they see her as a gold digger, who married into their family for money. Despite being kicked out of the house by her mother-in-law after her lies are exposed, she believes Sake still loves her and vows to return to the house again. She is suspicious, after learning from her mother-in-law that Sake has a new wife, Kate. She hires a young man to spy on them. After discovering the true reason for Kate's presence at Sake's house, she and her mother storm in and vow to stay there, but she is confronted not only by her in-laws, but also by Sake himself, who does not want her back anymore. After continuous futile attempts to win Sake's heart despite her best efforts, she changes her plan of reconciling with him into vengeance. She intends to divorce Sake and sue him for adultery, claiming his assets as compensation. She rejects her mother-in-law, Marissa's offer to settle the case amicably, and is adamant about suing her husband. To strengthen her case, she uses the media to portray herself as a victim and to smear her in-law's reputation. However, her plans not only fail but also backfire on her. Just when she thinks there is no more way out for her but to accept the offer of her mother-in-law, she meets Ad, the adversary of Sake, who is vengeful against Sake. She joins forces with Ad to exact revenge on him by planning the downfall of his family. Her collaboration with Ad, however, does not go as planned when Ad suspects her of betraying him and holds her hostage. He uses her to bait Sake, to force Sake into handing over an evidence of his crime. Polawant Manu Prasert. Tom. As Patapon. Stepfather of Kate, father of Pete and Pat. He is a long-term employee of Sake's company, and an avid gambler. He is deeply in debt as a result of his gambling habit, but does not disclose it to anyone in the family. He has also been undermining and embezzling money from the company where he works for many years. He loves Kate, who is his stepdaughter, as much as his own children, Pete and Pat. He introduces Kate to Sake while she is doing a photoshoot for his company. He overhears Sake's mother expressing her concern about not having a grandchild yet, in the office. When he is apprehended by Sake for his crimes against the company, and pursued by his gambling creditor, he believes there is no more way out for him until he recalls Sake's mother's words. He proposes to Sake and his mother to drop charges against him, and waive his debts to the company, in exchange of Sake's child being surrogated by his stepdaughter, Kate. He falls ill and is diagnosed with cancer just as he is about to repent and give up gambling after recovering from his crisis. When he overhears his family struggling to pay his medical bills, he becomes disheartened, and makes a decision he believes will put an end to their problems. Because of his long tenure with Sake's company, he is given the opportunity to make amends for his past mistakes, when Sake's mother seeks his assistance, when her company runs into serious problems. Pimpin Shalayankoop. Pimp. As Nantini. Mother of Kate. She loves her husband Patapon and, unbeknownst to her children, has been tolerating his gambling habit for many years. She initially objects to Patapon's suggestion that he use her daughter, Kate, to solve his problems, but ultimately agrees for the sake of her family. When her repentant husband falls ill, she and her 3 children struggle to find money for his medical bills. She declines financial assistance from Kate's fiancé, Satayu, because he has done too much for her family and she does not want to burden him any further. Chain Roy Lee Kichar and Sahul. Fame. As Pete. Stepbrother of Kate. He is Kate's younger stepbrother, still in university but working part-time to help pay his father's medical expenses. Unlike his younger sister, Pat, who always complains about having to work part-time for a meager salary, he is determined to lessen his mother and Kate of the burden of paying his father's medical bills. Anka Asamang Han Samai. Fern. As Pat. Stepsister of Kate. She is Kate's stepsister who always laments not being able to lead a normal life due to her family financial circumstances. She is forced to work part-time in a cafe to supplement her family's income. She is envious of Kate, After learning that she is living comfortably and expecting a child with a handsome and wealthy man, she wishes she could be in Kate's shoes. Apasiri Nidhyabhan. As Karuna, mother of Satayu. Her and Kate's families are longtime friends. She supports her son propose to Kate, when Kate is dealing with major family problem. She is as shocked and upset as her son, when she learns that Kate is going to be a surrogate mother for a wealthy man, but she is powerless to intervene. She has no objection to her son. Satayu uses his savings to help Kate, but only if he does so as a friend and not as her fiancé. She does not want Satayu to place too much hope on his relationship with Kate, since Kate is already going to be the mother of another man's child. Priyama Rachata. Dune. As Afan, mother of Itzaya. She is the money-minded mother of Itzaya who conspired with her daughter to cheat her way into marriage sake. When her daughter is kicked out the house by her mother-in-law, she encourages Itzaya not to give up because she is Sake's legal wife. She and her daughter repeatedly storm into Sake's house, causing chaos there, in their attempt to get Itzaya reconcile with Sake, and return to the house. Supaj Janjarian. Lift. As Odd. An influential politician. He is a playboy and a powerful politician, who is bored flirting with the same type of models supplied by a modeling agency. The first time he sees Kate, she captures his attention. As his agent is unable to send Kate to him because Kate is under a different manager, he kidnaps her. However, before he takes advantage of Kate, Sake comes to her rescue and beats him up. As a result, he vows to exact revenge by eliminating not only Sake, but also his family and company. He runs into Sake's wife Itzaya, and proposes to join forces with her against Sake because they share the common enemy. He makes Itzaya his mistress in his attempt to use her against Sake, but ends up accusing her of betraying him, after his plans do not turn out as expected. When he discovers that Sake is in possession of evidence of his crime against his company, he is out to get it at all cost. Kitty Fong Tanti Chinanan. Pop. As Ekapan, assistant of Ad Chakapan Tanthasoalina. Kong. As B. servant of Kate's family who moves to Sake's house with her. Arizara Wangshili. Fresh. As A. servant of Kate's family who moves to Sake's house with her. Ranawi Sarirad. As Chard, butler of Sake's house. Rachanant Suprakab. As Nut, Satayu's friend who introduces him to Pakani. Jayap, ex-convict who spies for Itzaya. Nippon, Sake's employee hired to find out corrupted and cheating staff in the company. Kluai, employee of Sake's company. J. Lisa, a modeling agent cum pimp. credit to 131 channel. Thank you for watching.